Hey everybody, this is Posi here with a special video that a few people have asked for, which is all about my combat strategy in Baldur's Gate 3. Now I typically cut out the fighting from my roleplay episodes, only because I'm focusing more on the story and doing the voice acting for my character. But with that being said, I like to roleplay in combat as well. It's a part of an immersive experience for me. So today I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I decided to pick just a couple key fights from my playthrough with Nyx, my drow monk fighter. The first is the one we're leading up to right now, the Act 2 battle with Ketheric Thorm, and the other is a pretty standard brawl between the Stone Lord crew and the Zents in Act 3. I should mention just a couple things before we get going. First, I am playing on balanced, but my game is also modded. I have a few buffed items that I've gotten via mods, including a ring that boosts ability scores, which comes from the Basket Full of Equipment mod. If you want that or any of the other mods I play with, check out the description. So without further ado, let's jump on in.
With pleasure.
So long as Nightfall's in that cage, Ketheric will keep getting back up.
So Nyx has a high initiative and a high movement speed, so I'm almost always throwing them into battle first, which makes sense for their character. They also are a monk with 2 levels of fighter, just to get action surge, so I'm not often casting spells with them, but they are wearing the cursed monk amulet from the Grimforge right now, which means they can cast Shatter.
No time for mercy.
If they pass a wisdom saving throw, which luckily they do. I'll use Step of the Wind to try to get them closer to Aelin. And here is an example of a roleplay choice that I make with Nyx. Nyx will always run past an enemy, even if they're going to get an attack of opportunity, almost as if they are daring that enemy to swing on them. Because their dex is so high, they have a confidence that they will be able to dodge out of the way, and if you do hit them, then you earned it. And here's where that action surge comes in handy. This is another roleplay example. So Nyx is currently able to teleport as a bonus action because of one of those modded rings I mentioned earlier. And even though it would be so convenient to just teleport over there, there is no logical reason to me why Nyx would be able to do that, so I don't use it with them. This is one of the things that I do just to ensure that I have a balanced game. Having all these fantastic mods is great, but not at the expense of immersion or making an OP character that essentially breaks the game for me. So we'll just hit patient defense and move on. Alright, on to Astarion. I would never change his class because Rogue makes so much sense for him, but I did change his subclass. He is a thief instead of an arcane trickster, so now he has an extra bonus action. I primarily use dual daggers and the bow with him. I also added 1 level of Bard because this is so silly, but I feel like he would know how to play the violin. He grew up in the aristocracy, he was a magistrate, like, of course he took music lessons at some point in his life, right? Anyways, that's weird, but I did it. Now we've moved on to Will, who just got that weapon right before this from Mazora that allows him to summon a planar being, I believe. Why can't I find that? That is one thing. I'm playing on PC, obviously, but I prefer to use an Xbox controller, which means the more spells and abilities that a character has, the more cluttered the action wheel gets. There it is.
Worth a try.
Even though Ketheric is a priority, you'll notice I'm going after the peripheral enemies first because I feel like they can sneak up on me and do more damage than I'm anticipating. Like this Mind Flayer is able to dominate Aelin, who hits like a tank, and I do not want to deal with that. I'm also just trying to figure out what this Cambion can do. Will still has a bonus action, so I am going to use teleport with him. It makes more sense to me because he's a spellcaster, unlike Nyx.
Battle of wits.
And now Gale. Maybe we can take out this enemy while we're over here. Looks like he's out of range. So we'll just send him towards the Mind Flayer. Again, I want to take this Mind Flayer out as quickly as possible. Also out of range. So I'll teleport him up here. I could also use Misty Step.
Certainly.
Both Gale and Will are in their standard class and subclass, so Gale is set up like a typical wizard. And I recently learned that Lightning Bolt will travel across levels, so I want to see if I can get the Mind Flayer and the Intellect Devourers on the ground. We can. Nice.
Focus your attack, soldiers.
I'll throw a quick save on here. I recently chose this Warcaster feat for Gale. Dang, there's that domination. Hopefully Aelin uses melee attacks instead of spells so that Nyx can dodge out of the way. It's helpful that we hit patient defense as well because Aelin will roll with disadvantage and Nyx will roll dex with advantage. So yeah, the Moonbeam doesn't feel great, but at least the other attacks missed. And Nyx will jump out of range, again disregarding the attack of opportunity. Now Kethric's AC is very high, so you'll notice that these hit percentages aren't great, but that won't stop Nyx from just going in full force. I am, however, trying to be strategic about using their key points, because I have a bad habit of using them all up in the first few rounds and then needing them later. Oh, and Nyx has the Lucky feat, which also fits their backstory. They're a favored twin, the only one who survived their Lulsworn upbringing, so they're certainly lucky. I mentioned Nyx's backstory in episode 0 if you're interested. Whirlwind Attack, the move Astarion just did, is actually a ranger ability, but it's a special skill granted by the dagger he's using. And Astarion is frightened, so he can't move, so I guess we'll just end his turn. Oh shoot, I should have used Bardic Inspiration. I forgot. I think I'll use Rays of Fire here instead of a regular attack. Even though it's at disadvantage, the damage is so high. Someone who knows probability can tell me if that was the right choice or not. This Mind Flayer only has 6 HP left, so I don't really want to use a full attack on it. Maybe we'll use Magic Missile and split the projectiles. There we go, just spreading the damage around.
Let me recite their demise.
I'm not sure what I want to do with Gale. I know I don't want to put him up into the thick of it. I try to keep him back because he's a glass cannon and I don't want him to take damage. So I won't put him near Ketheric. We might as well take out this little guy while we're over here. And now we can focus all of our attention on Ketheric. Holy crap! Okay, so here's another lesson, I suppose. If you have a character that runs face first into danger, you have to prepare to take some damage. But because Nyx is pretty fearless, I guess reckless is more accurate. Anyways, that means that in the Underdark, they did a Meluum side quest and succeeded all of the saving throws. So they now have Survival Instinct, which gives them +1 HP when downed. A little scary, yes, but again, it fits their character. And I'm glad I saved some key points, plus thank you Way of the Open Hand for wholeness of body, and we'll also throw a healing potion on there for good measure. Now, I try to move Astarion closer to Nyx when I can, because when a rogue strikes an enemy who's within melee range of an ally, he can use his sneak attack bonus. It only works if he also has advantage, so there are a few factors that can influence that, but I like to try when I can. I also just like the idea that Astarion would want to be close to Nyx in combat to help them out, at least for an end of Act 2 romanced Astarion, that is.
I'm ready.
So we're just going with the standard flurry of blows for Nyx, and then melee and offhand bonus attack for Astarion.
This is my time.
Back to Will and his Cambion ally. Oh, path is interrupted, so we'll have him fly down here.
Battle favors the fearless.
And why not go with a classic Warlock Eldritch Blast? Oh, that's why.
Allow me to demonstrate.
I really need to boost his charisma. That's my fault. Charisma for Will, everyone. Let's use this last level 4 spell slot with Gale. I think I'll go Phantasmal Killer. The duration is 10 turns, and I believe it will carry over when Ketheric becomes the Apostle of Merkel here in a moment. That was actually risky. That was only 20% chance to hit. Glad we got it. I just skipped past the cutscene there. If you would like to see it, check out episode 29. Gale didn't ask how big the enemy is. He said he casts Fireball. I am a dork, but I said what I said, and it's recorded now, so it's staying in. Ouch. I also just realized Phantasmal Killer did not carry over, so sorry, I was incorrect about that.
Now you wear a face to match your soul, Oathbreaker.
I'll quick save again here. I do that pretty frequently. It's just a habit.
Death won't take me yet.
I should have used Stunning Strike there. But we'll try to use up as many key points as possible, do as much damage as we can before he gets another turn. I'll leave Astarion down here now, because if he gets closer to the Apostle of Merkel, he'll be bone chilled, which means he cannot be healed. And if he takes any more damage, I want to be able to revive him. I'm contemplating having Astarion use a healing potion now, but Ketheric's almost done for. Oh, Bardic Inspiration. I remember this time. Oh. It would have made more sense strategically for him to use that on Will instead of Nyx though, since Will is next in line. That is one thing I can kind of get caught up in. Like, I just did that without even thinking about it, but for better or for worse, I love the romance component of Baldur's Gate. It's one of my favorite parts. It does mean that in combat, I'll have the characters play favorites. So my Tav and that companion will often heal each other or protect each other first before any other companion. So it may not have been the most beneficial choice there, but it also feels like something that the characters would do if they're in a relationship. And even though Gale missed that one, Aylin's Moonbeam helped us out. So that was a bigger boss battle, but now I'll show you a pretty normal encounter from Act 3.
You'll regret this!
So if you've watched my Let's Plays, you've seen that I am most often traveling with just my character and that one romanced companion in the party, because I don't want to miss out on any of their unique dialogue. Some people might think that this makes combat more difficult, but if your brain works like mine does, I feel like it streamlines combat a bit with fewer cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. So here we just have Nyx and Astarion. Once again, Nyx is first in the initiative lineup, and I'm going to send them towards these rangers, but I'm not going to attack them. Instead, I'm going to have Nyx attack the spellcaster and the rogue.
Won't take me yet.
The reason for that is twofold. The first is roleplay, because that rogue in the front just threatened Nyx. So it's time for them to say their prayers. Actually, don't say your prayers, because that will annoy Nyx even more. And the second reason is strategy, because the closer you are to a ranged enemy, the less accurate their shots are. So there we go. High dex and close range means everyone misses. Astarion has been getting better with the bow since he and Nyx have been traveling. So anytime we meet a traitor, I try to stock him up with specialty arrows. That one was the arrow of many targets.
You're mine.
And we finished off with a bonus offhand strike.
For the Stone Lord.
Oh, dang. Nyx will try to take out this fighter next, who does pretty incredible damage.
For mercy.
And we'll try to use Stunning Strike so that he can't move on his next turn. He passed the saving throw, so we'll use Action Surge to try again. There we go. I'll also try to incapacitate the Barbarian so that they don't make any attacks on Astarion. Since he's prone, it would be with advantage. And with the final bonus action, let's see what we can do to this wolf companion. Nice. I haven't really been mentioning the Illithid powers. Nyx is using them. That was Cole the Weak. They also use Psionic Backlash. And there are a few others, but now that they know who the Emperor is and how he's been tricking them, they're way less trusting, and they're certainly not going to go half Illithid. Even though this would be with advantage, we'll try to take out the other enemy, since they have fewer hit points. Astarion also has Cole the Weak. Not enough movement, so I'll send him towards those rangers.
Outmaneuver them.
Well, it doesn't really help if they pull out a dagger.
Torment.
The stunned condition has worn off, so now we'll try to take down this enemy for good. And it looks like Astarion has the gaping wound condition, but there's nothing Nyx can do about that right now.
Think you can take me on?
Nyx is, however, going to try to get into position so Astarion can get that sneak attack bonus. There we go. They're such a good team. And why not throw a vampire bite in there for our favorite vampire? Cole the Weak really coming in clutch here.
Torment.
They really need to stop coming after my man Astarion. But Nyx will make him pay for it.
Time for some bloody work.
And with that, it looks like we're about to wrap up this fight. I hope you found this video helpful, or at least somewhat interesting. Now I want to know, were there any tips I gave that you want to try to use in your own Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough? Or is there anything special that you already do in combat to make it more immersive? Let me know in the comments. If you're feeling it, I'd love it if you liked and subscribed to my channel. And as always, stay Posi. Oh, and don't forget to heal up when you need to.
That took the edge off.